Okay, next, I'm going to explain to you regarding the construction process involved in using steel as your framing system. Okay, so basically, when you use steel as your framing system, the construction processes will be divided into three steps. Okay, which is the first one is of course transportation. Okay, we cannot ignore the transportation as part of the process when you use steel, because all the steel component will be produced at the factory. Okay, we have to deliver to the site. Okay, so we need to orders from manufacturers what type of steel that you want to use, how many, the numbers, the quantities, and then the manufacturers will send the steel components to the site. So that's why we need to consider the transportation as part of the construction process. So when the steel component has been arrived on site, next we need to consider the assemblage process. Okay, whereby is either we are going to straight away install or erect the component, or perhaps we need to store the components at a certain place, okay, the storage place. Okay, so this is what we call it as an assemblage process. Okay, of course, in order to store the steel materials, you have to give precaution towards protecting the steel components. Okay, as you know, steel is being easily exposed to corrosion. Okay, senang karat. So we need to protect the steel components, especially towards weathers and so on lah. So we are going to store the components at the proper storage area. Okay, so next, perhaps we are going to move to the next process, which is the erection process or installation process. Okay, so we are going to follow the sequence of works. Perhaps from column, we are going to install the columns to the base, okay, beam to column, and etc. So in terms of erection or installation process, we are going to go through on that on the next maybe on the next video. Okay, so the uniqueness of steel is that if you use steel as your framing system, it's not necessary for you to use everything or 100% steel. Okay, means that your framing system is which includes column, beam, and also flooring. Okay, it's not necessary you want to use all steel for your framing system. Okay, so perhaps you can use concrete as your flooring system. Okay, so if you combine steel between if you combine between steel and also concrete, is you are going to increase the performance of the overall structure. Okay, so means that it will be more strength, because you have extra support from the concrete, and by combining between steel and also concrete, is also will extend the composite action towards corrosion. Okay, so perhaps by using concrete as your flooring system, it will increase the ability of the steel beam or column that you use against corrosion. Okay, so in other things, normally you can see that the steel frame is being exposed, means that you can see the steel framing system. Okay, so basically of course, the besides or the main objective that you expose the steel framing is for architectural or aesthetic value. Okay, untuk nampak cantik dan sebagainya. So if you expose your steel components in your design, make sure that you paint your exposed steel work with tumescent paint for fire protection. Okay, it's not only for corrosion protection, you also need to consider about fire protection, because steel ni for information, dia punya takat lebur agak rendah. Okay, dia senang lebur bila terbakar. Okay, so we need to increase the ability of the steel not only for corrosion protection, also for fire protection.